So another important component of how we start to inject mental health into education is we start to embrace the concept of mindfulness. We think about what mindfulness actually is, and it can mean lots of things. When people hear that word, they often think meditation, which the research on brief meditation exercises during transition and all those things that we can inject into a school system is pretty well established. A lot more schools are embracing that reality as we move forward. Why, though, are we taking away movement inside of school systems? You talk to any teacher and even principals, and they'll often tell you, like, it seems strange that I got 7, 8, 9, 10 kids like constantly moving in their seat. Well, the truth is, children's brains need to move. Movement actually provides increased blood flow, which provides increased oxygen, which increases the capacity for memory learning, and so on and so forth. So the concept of forcing a kid to sit in a chair is antithetical to learning objectives. It makes very little sense. Back in the day, again, when I was a kid, gym was a normal part of education. I have no idea why movement is being taken out, but it literally is the wrong direction completely. You add on top of that just all these general expectations, lack of mindfulness education, so on and so forth, and you have a recipe for really poor test results and so on and so forth. So at our school, we do a lot of things. One of the things that's crucial for mindfulness, which is a little different than the traditional ideas, is as the dean of a school, I will tell you, there is no kid who ever comes into my office that demonstrates any behavior, lying, stealing, fighting, any of that drama stuff, that will not be put in a position to have to think more deeply about the root level of the behavior. As a clinician for 20 years in the mental health world, I learned this skill, and I do believe it's a skill that teachers can learn in very short, solution-focused bursts, and that's what we're doing at my school. But the short is, if you want to get a heads up on behavior, you cannot focus on the surface of the behavior. You cannot focus on things like, well, why did you lie? So if you've ever asked a student that question, if you ever asked a student, why did you punch that kid? Do you actually think they know why? If they did, they probably wouldn't do it. That's the whole concept. So the idea of effective mindfulness is to make the overt covert. You take the deeper level issues, which are almost always rooted in stress, either academics, pressures the kids feel, they struggle with reading, they struggle with this, pressures at home, stress at home, so on and so forth, stress inside the school in terms of just social constructs, things like that. You start to connect dots for kids, help them understand how their stress at home is connected to their behavior here at school, or stress in school is connected to this avoidance tactic in the classroom. You start to connect those dots for a kid and make that an injected component of discipline, which is effectively the root word means to disciple, which means to teach, not to punish. You start to inject that process into your disciplinary structure as well as the fabric of your school, and you will see some really profound things happen. And then you add on top of that increased movement during whatever opportunities you have in transition or so on and so forth, and you're going to really be on the right track to changing the fabric of your school.